Records are filled with examples of courage, sacrifice, and honor. What occurred here was not about a lack of ability or care. It was a shortcut, a moment of poor judgment, a choice that, while wrong, was not malicious. In a separate, unrelated matter, we began looking into Major James Jackson, who was working off-duty jobs during his normal work hours. Upon learning this, I asked for a comparison of all salaried employees, looking at their work hours and their off-duty employment. We found several overlaps, but we also discovered that our policy did not prohibit them from flexing additional hours accrued from after-hours meetings, holidays, weekends, overnight call-outs, and activities such as charity events. The individuals with overlaps were exonerated, and our policy was updated so this will never happen again. And the affected employees will forfeit their accruals to compensate for the overlap. Major James Jackson was on that list. And investigators also discovered he violated several agency procedures regarding off-duty employment and the acceptance of gratuities. If he had not chosen to retire, I would have terminated his employment for these violations. As your sheriff, I shoulder the full burden of responsibility. We will learn from this, we will grow from this, and we will be better because of this. At this time, I'll attempt to answer any questions you may have.
Sure. I have to ask you, why not have an independent outside agency like the FTLE or FBI investigate this? Because it's my understanding from our previous briefing here that you were able to find out some of these people used services of Mr. Rausch by their internal emails, their sheriff's office emails, but
correct,
not able to investigate their personal emails. So first off, why not have an outside agency investigate? And secondly, do you have any concern that people were able to utilize their personal emails to communicate with Mr. Rausch and thereby not caught by this investigation?
Yeah, great question. I firmly feel that we have the best investigators in the business. When you look at our clearance rate, when you look at the packet you were provided, over 6,371 pages of information, it shows each and every one of you just how thorough our investigators are. This isn't criminal. FDLE, FBI wouldn't have access to an employee's personal emails no different than we have access to their personal emails. What we did is control everything that was within our ability. We left no stone unturned, making sure that we were extremely thorough. We even flew investigators up to New Hampshire to meet with the paper writer and interview him, where he admitted writing papers for every one of the employees involved. We left no stone unturned.
So you said it's not criminal, but these individuals used Mr. Rausch to complete their coursework, thereby in career advancement training, they were able to advance their careers, increase their salaries, and one could say this is theft of services. Wouldn't that be a criminal investigation that could involve an outside agency?
Absolutely, and I hear what you're saying. If this was the sole reason that these individuals were promoted, you're 100% correct. All this is to make yourself eligible for promotion. There's so many different factors that go in and that we weigh on when we sit here and we make promotions at any level. Whether they take a promotional exam, it just creates eligibility and puts you on the list where you're available for selection. To be quite honest with you, in 2024, I stopped having that requirement be a part of the eligibility process because I didn't see the value in it. So I stopped that back in 2024. So again, if this was the sole purpose of why this person was going to be receive some type of career advancement, I agree with you. It played one small part, and it was only the part of they became eligible.
So why allow some people to resign versus terminate them? Because this is an integrity issue, and most of these people have now been put on the Brady list.
Yeah.
They can no longer testify, so their services beyond their careers are nullified.
Yeah, they paid with their careers. Their careers in law enforcement are over. Every single person had the opportunity to resign. The two that I terminated made a decision that they were going to continue to go through the process. They wanted to come into internal affairs. They thought it wasn't as egregious as I felt, and they thought that they could win or make sure the allegations against them were not sustained. That wasn't the case. I met the investigative team afterwards. They assured me that there was no evidence presented to the contrary of these allegations being sustained. At that point, I terminated their employment.
Why did they use Roush? And did he say that it was anybody else within this department or any other that his services were utilized?
I don't know why. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I've said this before. I never knew there was such a service that you could pay someone and compensate them to write papers for you. I had no idea until this came to light. He didn't acknowledge that he wrote papers for anyone else. Period. And he left it at that.